Ron.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the Planning and Zoning meeting tonight for the City of Warrenton on July the 3rd, 2014. First order of business will be our public hearings, and tonight we do not have any, so we'll move on right into the regular meeting. And our first order of business will be the minutes from last month's meeting, June 5th, 2014.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from June 5th, 2014 as submitted.
Second.
And we have a motion by Mr. Costello, second by Mr. Deach to approve the minutes as submitted. Any further questions or comments? Roll call vote.
Mr. Costello?
Yes?
Mr. Deach?
Yes.
Mr. Barton?
Abstain, I was absent.
Mr. Schoenfeld?
I'll abstain also, same reason.
Mr. Swad?
Yes.
And Mr. Durbin?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0 with 2 abstentions and 4 absent tonight. Next order of business will be Section 425 sign regulations, which was continued from our last meeting as well. And we'll turn the floor over to Mr. Hamp, if you don't mind.
What you have in your packet tonight is, I went through per Commissioner Scott's request, and I've got a copy of the minutes regarding the conversation for the sign change, and then I also got the Section 425-090 standards for signs with any proposed changes highlighted in red for clarification.
I have one question, and it's regarding banner signs. The item number 8, maximum number of banners per entity at any time shall be limited to 1 per street front. And so it's kind of common, especially during election years like this, that sometimes the political signs are actually banners. And most of the time those are, of course, an off-premises. In other words, the person that placed the sign is placing it on someone else's property. So what will be the interpretation here if some of these locations in town that have more than 1 banner? Is it 1 banner per entity would mean per candidate, or would it be 1 banner per parcel of land?
I would interpret that as 1 banner per individual.
Okay.
If this candidate has his banner,
Right.
and the property owner gives permission for a second candidate to put a banner
Okay.
properly spaced and sized,
Right.
then they both would have it on that
Okay.
parcel.
Well,
And-
I only asked for the clarification because I wouldn't want us to move forward on something that might immediately put some people in violation. So as long as that's the interpretation, and hopefully the Board of Aldermen would agree, then I think that's fair to everyone.
And for clarity, the street front would be per parcel,
Right.
not that you wouldn't, if you had 1 banner in South 47, you couldn't have one farther up the
Right,
road. It's
right.
per individual parcel.
Okay. That was the only thing that I read that I was not clear on.
I just had a basic question about, it's come up to me about how far apart the signs need to be. Could you explain that, let people know exactly how far apart each sign has to?
Per code, temporary signs need to be a minimum of 10 feet apart from
Okay, no
another
matter what
temporary
kind they
sign.
are, okay.
For temporary signs.
Okay.
And there's been several different candidates that's been notified, and we've sent letters, actually copies of the code for their records, so they'll have it. And most of them have gladly moved them once they got our letter and get them spaced out. Where we run into some trouble is one candidate may have his space or her space properly, and then the next candidate comes and starts popping them in the middle. And that's sort of where they've been getting closer than code, and where we've been receiving a lot of phone calls and complaints.
Well, I would make a motion that we approve the amendments to Section 425 sign regulations as submitted.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Mr. Costello, second by Mr. Durbin, to accept the recommendations on Section 425 sign regulations as submitted tonight. Any questions or comments or further discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Mr. Deach?
Yes.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Mr. Schoenfeld?
Abstain.
Mr. Schwab?
Yes.
Mr. Durbin?
Yes.
And Mr. Costello?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with one abstention. And at this time, we'll turn the meeting back over to Mr. Hemp for any further comments.
The only other thing I have is that we've received another application for a new home construction from Cannon Builders out at Field of Dreams, and we're waiting for them to make their payment for plan review, and we'll hopefully get that permit process and get started on another house.
Anybody else have anything for the good of the group? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Motion by Mr. Costello to adjourn, second.
I'll second that.
Mr. Schwab, second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Have a good night and happy 4th.
Yeah.